Hello, class, and thank you for being here today. Yeah, I say class because even though we're going to be doing a presentation on multiple sclerosis, we're actually going to be teaching you a little bit of something, right? Um, I have had the privilege to have by my side my husband, Richard Baptiste, who has been diagnosed with multiple sclerosis since 1994. He had many challenges trying to understand, first of all, how this MS was impacting his daily life. My husband, at the time, was an active Marine, a major of the United States Marine Corps, and he had difficulties as he was running. He felt like being warm. His leg used to slip to the side. He had challenges even confronting the board uh, of the United States Marine Corps so he can stay a little longer. And of course, he didn't want to emphasize on what was MS at that time, nor did he bother to find out if there's any medication to stop the progressive of MS. So he kept fighting. He was able to stay in the Marine, and he stood there he served 16 years. And after that, his health started to decline, and that's when he actually took his health seriously. He then found out that he had secondary progressive, and when we met, I didn't know what MS was. So today, I want to tell you what he told me. MS is like an electrical box. You know, it's an electrical box, and you have a lot of little breakers, and you turn them on and you turn them off. And what happens when you don't have a light functioning into your house? You go to the breaker, and immediately you turn that breaker on, and you get a light. Well, the way MS works, MS is a neurological immune disease, and it first affects your brain. So the brain is actually your breaker box. And when in there, you have all these little wires that they connect to the nerve system and the muscle system in your body, right? So every time a spark, which, when you get electrocuted, you get a spark. Every time that spark comes up, that spark prevents that side from working. So if that spark is equal to a breaker in an electrical box, when it goes out, there's no light. That when that part goes out of the brain, that part of your body stops to work. So Richard has decreased feeling on his left hand, and he really doesn't use it as much. And then it started to affect other parts of his body, like his lower extremities. And now he is in a wheelchair. He's wheelchair bound for over 30 years, and he no longer can bear the weight onto his body, right? And he needs help. He falls frequently. Once the MS starts to spark all over your head, you have multiple different situations. In Richard's case, he has ear loss. He has his whole left side is weaker than his right side. He has the lower extremities that he can no longer walk. He has foot drop and head drop. Once you have done the exterior, because that's what is done, those sparks continue to go down your spine. The spinal cord injury is the clinic that he goes to. So when you look at the x-rays, you just see a whole lot of little sparks in his head and in his spine. So there's 4 different types of MS. They work in your system in a different way. And I'm going to speak today about the one I do know, which is secondary progressive, my husband. The secondary progressive, the way it works, it starts to get these spasms, what other people might know as episodes. And it just has like a little arrow, like you have a lot of spasms, and like you ever had a cramp in your leg just stretches out and it really hurts. So it's something similar, and you have that straight out. Have you ever seen a piece of candy that's on the floor and it has a lot of ants all over it? That's like a tingling sensation. So you get that type of tingling sensation. And when that happens, he can no longer move his body. If his temperature goes below or above, his body will react one way or the other. And with Richard, if he overheats, he would get very weak and he would lose memory. He wouldn't remember what happened. But if he gets really cold, then he gets stiff, and his fingers, his feet, his legs, they won't bend. So when they don't bend, it's difficult to transfer him from one place to the other, right? So uh, Talking about my husband's disease with MS, I can tell you that he has done a lot of things with the MS. And one of the clinics I want to present to you today is National MS Society. My husband has been a leader in the National MS Society as a self-help group. Therefore, he has served for many years. He helped the community with MSers and how to get through moments of difficulties. The same way he was able to surpass that, he was able to help other people to understand that there is a society that's there to help them, to give them information. They come together, they try to uh, put all the information out there for the MSers, and their daily work is to do research on medication and how to stop MS, right? Here, my husband, for many years, has always been through physical therapy. And at this time, in this newspaper, he was 44 years old, and of course, as a Marine with MS, his story had a lot of attention at the time. How he didn't give up and he kept struggling, because the most important part is to keep your body physically moving so your muscles doesn't continue to decrease. So let me share a little bit about the MS Society. The MS Society's mission is a multiple sclerosis vision is a world free of MS. And their mission is to cure MS while empowering people affected by MS to live their best life. Because MS does not it's not something you can inherit from a family member. It's not something that is in your bloodline just because you're related to someone with MS. MS does not let you know when they're coming to visit. They're unannounced. They just come into your life and they want to take over your life. So they don't look at the age. And when I say they, I'm talking about the immune system, the immune disease itself does not look at the age, does not look at the sex, does not care if you're young or you're old. MS is going to come. If you're the chosen one, MS is going to come and it's going to do that. Besides my husband, I have other family members that have MS, and she was a female. She was diagnosed when she was 17. Okay? So we know their vision and we know their mission. So I am going to explain 5 details here, and it says, take a prompt action to address the challenge faced by those affected by MS. Utilize and influence for collaborative inspiration and leadership. And that's why my husband was a leader. Give priority to diversity and equality and inclusion, so they include everyone. Foster, involving, and maintain a commitment to a continuous learning. Effectively deploy resources with intelligence. Their founder was Sylvia Laurie, and she established the National MS Society in 1946. Her goal was to finding a cure for her brother, and the goal is still in search. Every day they have new MS medications, new things they can try, and they have stopped a lot of MSs to become worse, of course. That really relies on the patient or the person who's diagnosed in order for it to come to place. Um, there's a lot of people that were diagnosed at an early age and they decided to go into medications and find and research about MS. There's other people, like my husband, who decided that he wanted to continue serving his country as a major in the United States Marine Corps, and he did it later on in life. But if you have a good diet, and with the good diet is zero sugar, and you maintain yourself physically, and you get your prescriptions and your diagnose and all those things on time with an action plan and a medical plan with your provider, MS can be stopped to a certain point. It doesn't have to advance as fast as it has in the past. As I was saying, the progressing addressing MS can be decreased. MS, National Multiple Sclerosis Society has continued and has not stopped searching for a way to help MSers and live free of MS. MS, like I said, is a neurological immune disorder that has no boundaries and will show up unannounced and unaccepted and unexpected, no matter your age or your gender. Do not let it surpass your loved one. Be prepared and prepare yourself for whatever outcome life brings your way. Allow me to recap so you can reflect. Multiple sclerosis is an unpredictable disease impacting central nervous system, leading to disruption in communication between the brain and the body. The cause remains unknown, no one knows, triggering the immune system and attacking the central nervous system. It damages the protective layer, and then the results of the symptoms are devastating, including numbness, tingling, mood changes, memory problem, pain, fatigue, blindness, paralysis. Experience with MS, necessary collective efforts to combat it. Do the difference today. My husband all the time is sending out so we can do the walk for MS, and participate by giving and donating to this company so they can continue their research and seeking medications to help all the different diseases that come with MS. So do the change, do the difference. Today is time of giving, it's Christmas time. So I want you to take with you home some information, and don't forget that MS can knock on your door when you less expect it, and it can hit you or it can hit a loved one. So please, I ask you and I ask my fellow classmates that are looking at this video, make the difference with MSers. Participate in a donation, whether is it volunteering and being there during their events, or whether is it financially. Thank you and God bless.